Welcome to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. This is your go-to source for practical advice and support while you go through the divorce process. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll cover a variety of topics such as child custody, property division, and self-care. Together, we'll explore emotional, financial, and legal aspects of divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here's your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Hi, and welcome back to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today's topic, we're going to explore two alternative dispute resolution methods. And they're, pretty common in the divorce process. And one is mediation and the other is arbitration. Now, while both aim to resolve conflicts outside of court, they have distinct differences. So let's break them down. Now, we're going to start with mediation. And so mediation is a voluntary process where divorcing couples work with a neutral third party known as a mediator to facilitate discussions and reach agreements on various aspects of their divorce. This can include things like child custody, property division, and spousal support, just to name a few, but there are lots of topics that go on during the divorce process. Now, unlike traditional litigation, which can be adversarial and costly, mediation encourages cooperation and collaboration between the parties. It empowers couples to make decisions that are tailored to their unique circumstances and preferences rather than relying on a judge to impose a resolution. One of the key benefits of mediation is its flexibility. Couples have the opportunity to explore creative solutions and compromises on issues that are important to both parties. And this can result in a more mutually satisfactory outcome. Moreover, mediation tends to be less time-consuming and less expensive than litigation, making it an attractive option for couples seeking to minimize conflict and expedite the divorce process. Now, let's turn our attention to arbitration. Arbitration is another form of alternative dispute resolution where divorcing couples present their case to a neutral third party, this time known as an arbitrator, who acts as a private judge and renders a binding decision on unresolved issues. Unlike mediation, where the mediator facilitates discussions and helps parties reach agreements, the arbitrator in an arbitration has the authority to make binding decisions, similar to a judge in a court proceeding. Arbitration is often chosen when couples are unable to reach agreements through mediation or prefer a more formalized process than mediation offers. It provides a structured framework for resolving disputes efficiently and privately without the need for court intervention. However, it's important to note that arbitration may not be appropriate for every situation. While it offers certain advantages, such as confidentiality and flexible scheduling, it also limits parties' ability to appeal the arbitrator's decision and may not always result in outcomes that are perceived as fair or equitable. So, in summary, while both mediation and arbitration offer alternatives to traditional litigation in the divorce process, they differ in their approach, level of control, and finality of outcomes. Whether you choose mediation, arbitration, or traditional litigation, it's essential to consider your unique circumstances, priorities, and preferences when navigating the divorce process. So that's what we have for today's episode. I hope this episode provided a little clarity on the difference between mediation and arbitration in the divorce process. And I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions on today's topic or other financial planning issues, please feel free to reach out. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. Take care. Hello, and welcome to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. Today, we're going to look into an important topic, really. I mean, it really is. And it's how therapists can help children during the divorce process. So divorce can be, really quite an emotionally challenging time for children. And having the right support for them can make all the difference. Let's take a quick look at how this could take place. So we're going to start with it's essential to recognize that children often experience a wide range of emotions when their parents are going through a divorce. Really, it's not much different than you or I as adults going through the same emotions. I mean, they may feel confused, sad, angry, or even guilty about the situation. And this is where a therapist can play a vital role. So, therapists who specialize in working with children can provide a safe and supportive environment for them to express their feelings, ask questions, process their experience. One way therapists help children during the divorce is by providing age appropriate information about what divorce means and how it impacts their lives. This can help alleviate confusion and anxiety by giving children a better understanding of what to expect. Therapists also help children develop coping skills to navigate the challenges of divorce. This may include teaching them relaxation techniques, communication strategies, and problem solving skills to manage their emotions and cope with changes in their family dynamics. Another important role a therapist can have is to validate children's feelings and experiences. Divorce is really a tumultuous time, and children may feel like their emotions are being dismissed or even ignored. So, therapists provide a supportive space where children's feelings are acknowledged and respected. In addition to individual therapy, family therapy can also be beneficial during divorce. Family therapists work with the entire family unit to improve communication, resolve conflicts, and strengthen relationships during this challenging time. Furthermore, therapists can help children develop healthy coping mechanisms and resilience that will serve them well beyond the divorce process. By empowering children to express themselves and navigate difficult emotions, therapists they help lay the groundwork for long-term emotional well-being. It's important to involve a therapist early in the divorce process. I mean, ideally before significant emotional issues arrive. Early intervention can help prevent the escalation of emotional difficulties and provide children with the support they need to adjust to the new family dynamic. And as a parent, it is critical to be proactive in seeking out therapy for your children during divorce. By prioritizing their emotional well being and providing them with the support they need, you can help them navigate this challenging transition and hopefully make them stronger in the end. So, as this episode winds down, therapists really can play a critical role in supporting children during the divorce process. I mean, they can provide safe and supportive environment. They can help children process their emotions, develop coping skills, and build resilience for the future. That concludes our episode for today. I want to thank you for joining me on Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions on today's topic or other financial planning issues, feel free to contact me. My information's in the description. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And with that, we will see you next time. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we're going to dive into a topic that might raise some eyebrows, and that is joint family events with an ex-spouse after divorce. Is it really a thing, or is it just a Hollywood fantasy? Well, let's take a look. As we know, divorce often marks the end of a romantic partnership, but it doesn't necessarily end the family ties, especially when children are involved. Many divorced couples find themselves navigating the delicate balance of co-parenting while also managing their own emotions and boundaries. One aspect of this dynamic is the possibility of joint family events where both ex-spouses come together to celebrate milestones, holidays, or other important occasions with their children and extended family members. For some, the idea of sharing space and time with an ex-spouse may seem unfathomable or even uncomfortable. After all, divorce typically follows a period of emotional turmoil and often involves hurt feelings and unresolved issues. However, for others, joint family events can offer a sense of continuity and stability for their children, allowing them to maintain connections with both parents and extended family members without feeling torn between loyalties. In cases where co-parenting is amicable and both spouses are committing to putting their children's well-being first, joint family events can be a natural extension of that partnership. But make no mistake, making joint family events work after divorce requires clear communication, mutual respect, and healthy boundaries. It's essential for both ex-spouses to set aside their personal differences and prioritize the needs and feelings of their children. This often means putting aside past grievances and focusing on creating positive and supportive environments for their children to thrive. For some families, joint family events may not even be feasible or advisable, especially in cases where there is ongoing conflict or unresolved issues between the ex-spouses. In such situations, maintaining separate celebrations or establishing alternative arrangements may be more practical and beneficial for all parties involved. Ultimately, the decision to participate in joint family events after divorce is a deeply personal one that should be made with careful consideration and respect for really everyone's feelings and boundaries. Regardless of whether joint family events are part of your post divorce reality, the most important thing is to prioritize open communication, respect, and cooperation in co parenting relationships. By focusing on the well being of their children and fostering positive relationships with their co parent, divorced couples can create nurturing and supportive environments that help their children thrive despite the challenges of divorce. That's going to conclude our episode today. I hope the information shed some light on the complexities of joint family events after divorce. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions on today's topic or other financial planning issues, please feel free to reach out. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. All the best. Hello, and welcome to this unscripted edition of Breaking Ties Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today I'm going to be kind of a one-off, if you will, on a topic. And I've thrown away the script. I've thrown away the outline. It's just me and the microphone. And so today's topic is really going to be about, the grind of getting divorced, the process. You've already decided to get a divorce. The papers are filed, and now you got this space of all the legal pieces, parts, and it's, and how long it's going to take and everything else that goes with it. Before you actually get to the divorce being finalized and moving on to the next stage. So when it comes to the divorce process, I call it a grind. And the reality is that it is a grind. It doesn't matter if it's an amicable divorce. It doesn't matter if it's a contested divorce. The process is the process that you have to go through, and it's going to take more time than you probably want. It could potentially cost more than you want because it's taking more time. And while there really isn't a whole lot you can do to change things, I mean, there are ways you can speed it up and stuff. However, you also have to have a future ex-spouse who agrees with the process that you want to take to either reduce costs or get through the process quicker. Because as it grinds on you, it's going to try to wear you down, and you really can't let it. You're going to have to find ways to release the stress and tension. And I talk a lot on the podcast about support networks, family, friends, other, support groups that could help. But a lot of it has to do with just releasing, say, the tension, releasing the anxiety, releasing the angst, and getting to a point where you have some clarity and some creativity and some ways of, looking at the end result here, at the end of the process, and getting through this part of it. So it's very much needed. Really, the self-care portion is really significant, especially if you're in a contested divorce where you got a lot of court hearings and things back and forth with the attorneys. The grind is really going to show up on those contested situations. And there's no right or wrong here. It's more of being self-aware about what's really taking place and really what to expect. you're not going to want to just let this thing run out forever. If you have, there's a lot to it, but hopefully you're able to at least have some kind of communication with your future ex that you can keep things moving along. If you can just see the process moving along, then you know that the end is coming closer and closer. If the process stalls or one spouse is taking longer or taking all the time they want to get back the information to you and your attorney kind of thing, it takes a toll. It really does. And not just on you, but let's say you have kids. I mean, it's going to take a toll on your kids as well, because they have that uncertainty and they have all that anxiety over what is it going to be like after the process is over. We're trying to do all this so you may have a job. And goodness, I mean, the reality is you got kids, you have a job, and you're trying to get through the divorce process. It's going to be one of the most challenging times in your life. And when you look back on it, you're going to be like, wow, I made it through that. And gosh, I'm stronger than I think I am. So we want to, do what you can to keep yourself mentally sharp so you can make good decisions as you get through this process. And I assure you, the process does come to an end at some point, and you will be able to move on. So I want to thank you for joining me on this unscripted episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. And I say this all the time, but really, if you have questions on the topic, on financial planning issues, just let me know. I'm here to help. And divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And we'll see you on a future episode of Breaking Ties. Take care. Hello, and welcome to another episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we're going to discuss a topic that many might find a bit daunting, and that is how to prepare to single parent during the divorce process. Now, becoming a single parent is a significant life transition, I'm sure you know, and adequate preparation can make all the difference. First and foremost, it's important to acknowledge that the transition to single parenthood can be challenging both emotionally and logistically. However, with careful planning and support, it's possible to navigate this journey with resilience and strength. One of the first steps in preparing to single parent during divorce is to assess your support network. Reach out to family, friends, and trusted individuals who can offer emotional support, practical assistance, and childcare help when needed. Building a strong support system is essential for single parents as it provides a safety net during times of need and helps alleviate feelings of isolation or being overwhelmed. Next, take stock of your financial situation and create a budget that reflects your new reality. Really, as a single parent, this is pretty important. Now, this may involve reassessing your expenses, exploring sources of financial support, and planning for unexpected costs that may arise during the divorce process. Consider consulting with a financial advisor or divorce attorney to gain a better understanding of your rights and obligations regarding child support, spousal maintenance, and the division of assets and debts. Another critical aspect of preparing to single parent during divorce is to prioritize self-care. As a single parent, it's easy to neglect your own needs while focusing on the needs of your children. However, self-care is essential for maintaining your physical, emotional, and mental well-being. Make time for activities that bring you joy and relaxation, whether it's exercising, spending time outdoors, or pursuing hobbies and interests. Remember that taking care of yourself enables you to be the best parent you can be for your children. Communication is key when preparing to single parent during divorce. Keep lines of communication open with your children, reassuring them that your love and support throughout the process doesn't change. Encourage them to express their own feelings and concerns openly, and validate their emotions with empathy and understanding. Be honest with your children about the changes that lie ahead, while also emphasizing that you will navigate this journey together as a family, albeit in a different form. Finally, seek out resources and support services that can help ease the transition to single parenthood. This may include parenting classes, support groups for single parents, and community organizations that offer assistance with childcare, housing, and other practical needs. Remember, the journey to single parenthood during divorce is a process, not a destination. Be patient with yourself and your children as you navigate this challenging transition. Don't forget to lean on your support network for guidance and encouragement along the way. And that's going to take us to the end of today's episode. Remember, you're not alone, and support is available to help you navigate this journey with resilience and strength. Thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions on today's topic or other financial planning issues, please reach out. Happy to help. Divorce is not the end of your story. It is the start of your next great chapter. And with that, take care.